Have you ever caught yourself staring at the calendar, anxiously counting down the days until your paycheck arrives? And when it finally does, it seems to vanish in just a few days, like water in the desert. The bills pile up, the needs don't stop, and that tight feeling in your chest comes back once again. But what if I told you this frustrating cycle can be broken, that it's possible to turn that same paycheck, which today seems insufficient, into a tool for building your financial freedom? I'm not talking about magic formulas or get-rich-quick schemes, but rather a change in mindset and habits that can revolutionize your relationship with money. Imagine waking up without that constant worry about how you'll pay the bills this month, or being able to make choices based on your dreams, not just survival. That's financial freedom, and it might be closer than you think. Today, I'm going to reveal to you the 4 powerful steps that can completely transform your financial life, even with a salary you consider insufficient. And we're not talking about empty theories or outrageous promises. We're talking about solid principles that have already changed millions of lives around the world. These steps are based directly on the teachings of Robert Kiyosaki, the man behind the phenomenon Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Kiyosaki wasn't born wealthy or with special privileges. What he did was observe and learn from 2 important figures in his life: his biological father, an extremely educated man who constantly struggled with money, and his best friend's father, who, with little formal education, built an impressive financial empire. What we've discovered by studying Kiyosaki is that there are clear patterns separating financially free people from those who are always chasing the next paycheck. These are simple principles, yet they are rarely taught in schools or even within families. It's as if there's a secret code that only a few privileged people know. But today, I'm going to decode that for you, showing how to apply these principles in your everyday life, even if you're starting with limited resources. These 4 steps have the power to change not just your bank account, but also your mindset about money, and consequently, your financial future. One of the biggest obstacles on the journey to financial freedom is that nagging thought in the back of our minds: I'm never going to get rich on this salary. This belief is so deeply rooted in our society that we accept it as an absolute truth without even questioning it. But let's stop and reflect on that for a moment. If we look around, we see people earning impressive salaries: doctors, lawyers, executives, yet many live constantly in debt, always stretching their budgets to the limit. On the other hand, we find inspiring stories of people who started with almost nothing and built significant wealth. The uncomfortable truth that few are willing to admit is this: it's not about how much you earn, it's about what you do with what you earn. This may be the most valuable lesson Robert Kiyosaki teaches us. The size of your paycheck matters far less than your daily decisions about how you use that money. Think of money like water. It doesn't matter whether you have a faucet that gushes or one that just drips. If all the water runs down a leaky drain, you'll never fill your bucket. Most people focus all their energy on increasing the flow of the faucet, working more hours, chasing promotions, switching jobs, but pay very little attention to the holes in the bucket. Understanding this principle is revolutionary because it completely shifts your focus. Instead of constantly lamenting the size of your paycheck, you begin to observe and optimize your spending patterns, your financial habits, and most importantly, your investment decisions. That's where the real transformation begins. This is the most revolutionary and surprisingly the simplest principle you'll learn today. Pay yourself first. Most of us are used to doing the same thing when our paycheck comes in. We pay the bills first, then buy what we need, and if there's anything left, we think about saving or investing. But that exact order is what's holding your finances back. Robert Kiyosaki flipped this logic on its head with one powerful idea. As soon as your salary hits your account, the very first transfer you make should be to yourself, not to the bank, not to your credit card, not to the utility company, but to you. That means setting aside a percentage of your income, maybe 10%, 5%, or even just 1% to start, and putting it in a separate account that you do not touch, no matter what. This money isn't for emergencies, a great deal you saw, or your nephew's birthday gift. This money is sacred. It's your future being built starting today. But how am I supposed to do that when I can barely cover my bills, you might ask? That's where the magic comes in. When you pay yourself first, you're sending a powerful message to your brain. You're saying, my future is a priority. And your brain, creative as it is, will find ways to make the rest of the money work. It's like training yourself to live with a little less now, so you can live with a lot more later. At first, it might feel impossible, but people who adopt this habit often report something surprising. They hardly even miss that money. Their budget adjusts naturally because they start making smarter choices. This is the secret that truly wealthy people have known for generations. They don't wait to see what's left at the end of the month. They make sure they get their share first, and that's exactly why they stay wealthy, while others, sometimes earning even more, stay stuck in the same financial struggle month after month. Start today with whatever amount you can. If 10% feels like too much, start with 5% or 1%. The amount isn't the point. The habit is. This is the very first and most important step toward financial freedom. This is how you start turning a limited paycheck into a tool for liberation. Here's where most people make the big financial mistake that keeps them trapped on the hamster wheel for life. After years of studying the habits of the rich and poor, Kiyosaki identified one key difference. The rich buy assets, while the poor and middle class collect liabilities, thinking they're assets. So what exactly is an asset? The definition is simple but powerful. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability, on the other hand, takes money out of your pocket. And that difference changes everything. That shiny new car you just put a down payment on, it's not an asset no matter what the ad says. It constantly drains your money through loan payments, insurance, gas, maintenance and depreciation. That giant 85-inch smart TV, also not an asset. It's just another thing that makes your money disappear when you take the money you started saving in step one and invest it in something that generates income or grows in value. You're creating an asset. It could be a financial investment that pays interest, solid stocks that pay dividends, a side business, or even books and courses that boost your ability to earn more in the future. The magic happens when your assets start making enough money to buy more assets. It's like planting a tree that grows seeds, and those seeds become more trees. Over time, you'll have an entire orchard working for you. This principle is so powerful, it can completely transform your financial life in just a few years. While most people are busy upgrading their cars or remodeling their homes, adding more liabilities, the truly successful are quietly building income-generating empires. And here's the most incredible part. You can start small. You don't need a lot of money to begin this process. What really matters is the direction your money is going toward assets or toward liabilities. That choice, made consistently over time, is what will determine whether you achieve financial freedom or stay forever dependent on the next paycheck. Think of it as a fundamental decision you make every time you receive money. Are you acquiring something that will work for you, or something that will drain your resources? The rich understand that every dollar invested in a true asset is like hiring a little employee who works for you 24/7, sending part of the profits back to you. The more of these employees you have, the less you'll need to rely on your job to survive. Many people get stuck at this stage because they think they need advanced knowledge or large amounts of money to start investing. The truth is, today's market offers countless options for small investors, from government bonds starting at just $30 to small fractions of stocks or real estate funds. Another common mistake is thinking that only financial investments count as assets. A course that increases your employability, a piece of equipment that lets you start a side business, or even software that automates part of your work can all be considered assets if they help increase your income. The key point here is developing an investor's eye, the ability to look at every potential expense and ask, will this make me poorer or richer in the long run? This mindset shift is what separates those who build wealth from those who just accumulate stuff. Remember, the richest people in the world didn't get there by buying luxury items. They got there by accumulating assets first. Luxury came later, paid for by the returns from those assets, not by the sweat of their daily labor. Financial education is the highest return investment you'll ever make. It's amazing how we spend years in school learning about history, geography, and advanced math, but rarely get a single lesson on how money actually works in real life. Robert Kiyosaki constantly emphasizes that financial ignorance is the true cause of poverty and financial struggles. It's not the lack of money, it's the lack of knowledge about how money works. And here's the good news. This knowledge is more accessible today than ever before. Start by dedicating at least 30 minutes a day to learning about finance. Read books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, or The Richest Man in Babylon. Subscribe to financial podcasts, follow expert YouTube channels, and join online communities where people share investment strategies and financial insights. This knowledge will completely transform how you see money. You'll begin to understand concepts like compound interest, inflation, diversification, cash flow, and leverage. Terms that once seemed intimidating will become powerful tools in your hands, and the more you learn, the more confident you'll become in making decisions. The financial anxiety many people feel mainly comes from fear of the unknown. Once you understand how the system works, that fear turns into confidence and clarity. Financial education also works like a radar for opportunities. Financially educated people can spot great deals where others only see problems. They recognize emerging trends before they become obvious to the masses. And perhaps most importantly, they can identify and avoid financial traps that catch so many people every day. Remember, financial knowledge isn't a luxury, it's an absolute necessity in the complex world we live in. It's the difference between being tossed around by economic changes or skillfully navigating them, catching the right winds and avoiding storms. Kiyosaki uses a powerful metaphor to describe most people's financial life: the rat race. It's that endless cycle of working, paying bills, working more, paying more bills, a cycle that keeps you running faster and faster but never really moving forward. Escaping the rat race doesn't mean quitting your job tomorrow. It means changing your mindset and starting to build your escape routes. The ultimate goal is to get to a point where you work because you want to, not because you desperately need that next paycheck to survive. The most powerful strategy to escape this trap is to develop sources of passive or semi-passive income. These are streams of income that keep coming in whether you're actively working or not. It could be through dividend-paying investments, rental properties, automated businesses, digital products, royalties, or dozens of other possibilities. Start small. Maybe a blog that earns ad revenue, an e-book sold on digital platforms, or small monthly investments in dividend-paying stocks. The starting amount may be modest, but the concept is revolutionary. You're creating income streams that don't directly depend on your time. True financial freedom happens when your passive income exceeds your monthly expenses. At that point, working becomes a choice, not a necessity. You can dedicate your time and energy to what you truly love without the constant pressure of bills to pay. That is the real goal of this whole journey. It's not about getting rich to buy expensive things. It's about buying your freedom, your time, and the possibility of living on your own terms. The beauty of this step is that it feeds off the previous ones. The money you set aside in step 1, invested in assets in step 2, with the knowledge gained in step 3, is now working to create your escape from the rat race in step 4. It's a system that, when implemented consistently, has the power to completely transform your financial reality. The rat race is even more dangerous because it offers the illusion of progress. You get a promotion, a raise, and for a moment it feels like you're moving forward. But soon you realize your expenses have increased at the same rate, and you're back where you started, running faster, but still stuck in the same wheel. Another crucial aspect to escape this cycle is adopting what Kiyosaki calls an abundance mindset instead of a scarcity mindset. The scarcity mindset makes you think the only way to earn more is by working more hours. The abundance mindset leads you to ask, how can I make my money work harder for me? Consider starting a side business while still keeping your main job. This lowers the risk and allows you to gradually build an alternative source of income. Many of today's largest companies started as weekend projects by their founders. Diversifying your income sources is another powerful strategy. Financially vulnerable people depend on a single paycheck. Resilient people have multiple streams, perhaps a main job, a side business, some investments, and skills that can be monetized when needed. Today's technology offers unprecedented opportunities to create scalable income sources with minimal initial investment. Digital platforms allow you to reach global customers, automate processes, and run lean businesses that would have been unthinkable a few decades ago. The ultimate goal is to flip the time-money pyramid. Instead of trading your limited time for money, you create systems that generate money while you reclaim your time, the truly irreplaceable resource in life's equation. You might be thinking these principles are just theory, but let me show you how they work in practice. Meet John, a public school teacher who never had a remarkable salary. He started by applying just 5% of his income every month, even when it seemed impossible. At first, that meant only $180 a month. In the first 2 years, he focused on learning about investments while his small fund slowly grew. Then he spotted an opportunity. He began buying small shares of REITs, real estate investment trusts, that paid quarterly dividends. He reinvested every cent. At the same time, he used his expertise to create an online course for people preparing for public service exams in his field, an extra income stream that required a lot of work up front, but later generated income with minimal maintenance. After 7 years of consistently applying the 4 steps I shared with you, John reached a turning point. His passive income covered 70% of his monthly expenses. That gave him the confidence to reduce his working hours and focus on projects he truly loved. Today, 10 years after the start of his journey, he works because he wants to, not because he needs to. That's the true definition of financial freedom, and the most inspiring part. John started exactly where you might be right now, with limited resources but unlimited determination. What makes John's story so powerful is that he didn't inherit money, he didn't win the lottery, and he didn't receive a significant raise during that journey. He simply applied the principles consistently, even during hard times. During the 2022 economic crisis, when many were panic selling their investments, John took the opportunity to buy more stocks at discounted prices. He understood that crises are disguised opportunities for those with knowledge and liquidity. His portfolio today includes a diversified mix, around 60% in low-cost index funds, 25% in selected REITs, 10% in dividend-paying company stocks, and 5% in alternative investments. This diversification provides both stability and steady growth. The online course he created now generates about $200 per month with just a few hours of maintenance. He uses platforms like Teachable and Kajabi to automate as much of the process as possible. John also implemented what he calls a protection system. He keeps an emergency fund equivalent to 6 months of expenses, completely separate from his investments. This gives him peace of mind and prevents the need to liquidate assets at inopportune times. Today, his passive income exceeds $3,500 per month, more than enough to cover his basic needs. This allowed him to reduce his workload to just 3 days a week, using his free time to mentor other teachers and travel. The path to financial freedom is rarely a straight line. I want to be honest with you about the challenges you're likely to face and how to overcome them. The first major obstacle will be psychological. Resistance to change and constant doubt about whether these principles will really work for you. Many people start off excited but give up in the first few weeks, when they realize that transformation doesn't happen overnight. That's when you need to anchor yourself in your why, your deeper motivation for pursuing financial freedom. Maybe it's to give your children a better life, have time to pursue your passions, or simply sleep peacefully without financial worries. Another common obstacle is social pressure. When you start applying these principles, friends and family may question your choices. Why don't you buy a new car like everyone else? Why are you saving so much if life is short? You'll need to develop conviction in your decisions and sometimes learn to say no in order to protect your future. Financial emergencies will also test your discipline. Unexpected health issues, car repairs, or job loss may arise. That's why part of your plan should include building a solid emergency fund before accelerating your investments. This safety net will help you stay on track even when life throws surprises your way. Impatience will be another challenge. In the first 2 or 3 years, your results may seem modest, but remember, you're building a strong foundation. It's like planting an oak tree. It grows slowly at first, but eventually becomes majestic and unshakable. The secret to overcoming all these obstacles is simple but powerful: community and continuous learning. Surround yourself with people who share similar financial values, whether online or in person. And never stop learning. Every book, podcast, or mentor can offer that one idea that unlocks the next level in your journey. We've reached the end of this journey through the principles that can completely transform your relationship with money and open the doors to a life of true financial freedom. What I shared with you today is not mystical secrets or magic formulas. They are tested and proven principles that anyone, regardless of their paycheck size, can implement. Pay yourself first, build assets, invest in financial knowledge, and escape the rat race. These 4 simple steps, applied consistently over time, have the power to change not only your bank account, but your entire life perspective. What makes these principles so powerful is that they don't depend on external circumstances or luck. They work in any economy, in any market, and for anyone willing to apply them with discipline and patience. Financial freedom is not a destination for a lucky few. It's a path available to anyone who's willing to follow the right steps. The decision is now in your hands. You can continue with the same habits, hoping for a financial miracle, or you can take the first step today, no matter how small, toward your financial independence. If this content brought value to your life, help me spread this message. Like this video, subscribe to the channel for more practical financial strategies, and most importantly, share it with someone you know who desperately needs to hear this message today. Sometimes a single video shared at the right time can be the catalyst that changes someone's financial path forever. Thank you for dedicating your time to this content. See you in the next video with more strategies to help you build the financial life you deserve.